Hey there friends, Rebecca here, your friendly neighborhood dragon librarian from Farmington Community Library, and I've got Zephyr with me here today, and we are going to be talking about some books that are just absolutely fantastic. And they are ones that I hope, if you haven't heard of them before, maybe they will be something that I have put on your radar and you will want to give them a try. Now, the reason I want to talk about both of these books today is because they fit into a common theme, and that theme is a little bit what I'm going to be talking about today too. So, we are more than halfway through September, right? We are just going through this month quickly. I can't even believe it, but it's definitely more than halfway over by now. And every September, there is a very important celebration that happens, usually towards the end of September. And this year it's happening next week, and that is Banned Books Week. Now, this is not, contrary to the title, we don't run around banning books. It's actually a celebration of the freedom to read. And it just brings together everybody in the literary world, right? Publishers, booksellers, librarians, teachers, but most importantly, readers just like you. And it's really just a celebration, like I said, of the freedom to read, and the fact that it brings a lot of light to the fact that book banning is still a thing that is going on very strong in this country. And actually, since 2021, those numbers have been steadily rising. Very, very scary to see the numbers now versus where they were a few years ago. Every year they're just getting higher and higher. And, you know, across the country that is happening. Books are being challenged and books are being banned. So the difference between a challenge and a ban is, a challenge is when a book is being called into question. A ban is when they actually remove it from the shelves. So, again, Banned Books Week, we bring light to this topic. We read some books that have been banned, right? We talk about it, get the conversation going, stuff like that. So, I'm going to talk about a book that is about book banning and book censorship, and then I'm going to talk about a book that is the on the top 10 list of books that were the most banned this past year. So, the book that is about book censorship is called That Librarian, and this is by Amanda Jones. Now, I had the honor of listening to Amanda Jones speak at a library conference that I was at in the spring, and she's absolutely incredible. Now, this may be a story that you are familiar with, but if you're not, I'll just do a little bit of a rundown of it for you. So Amanda Jones she is a middle school librarian in a small town in Louisiana. She grew up there. She loves the town, loves her community, her neighbors. In 2022, she went to a meeting that was at the public library to talk about the issue of book banning, because the issue was coming up a lot and she wanted to talk out against it. Because of that, she received a barrage of hate, not just through social media. Through social media, but through email. People were calling her job. People were harassing not just her, but her friends and her family, and were trying to make her feel like there was something wrong with her. Even though she was not even there at her school doing this, she was at the public library as a citizen of that town. So, this is tough to read, because reading what she went through is very harrowing. I mean, particularly as a librarian, I was having heart palpitations the whole time. But even just anyone reading this, seeing what this struggle was like for her firsthand was just an incredible venture to read this book. So it goes on. It's not all doom and gloom, because she goes on to sue the people that started to, dump all this hate against her, and she really fought against this that was happening. And this is her story about that entire that entire period where that was happening. Now, this is not a super long book. I want to say it's just about 250 pages. So it is nonfiction. It is 250 pages ish. So it's not this huge tome that's going to take you forever to read, but this book is really incredible way to discover about book censorship in this country, some of the things that are going on if you're not familiar with it. And even if you are familiar with it, learning about her story was really rewarding. And all the things she went to, and how she fought and continues to fight for the freedom to read for her students and for really just her community and the people in her city. So highly recommend this one. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. whether this is an interest that personally, like a topic that personally applies to you, I don't think it matters. I think because this is such a national topic right now, it's on the news all the time about book banning and censorship. This gives a lot of information, not just about her personal story, but just a lot of information and factual stuff that is going on with this topic of book banning. So, highly recommend this one, That Librarian. So the next book I want to talk about is actually a book that has shown up on the top 10 list of the American Library Association most banned books of the year. So basically, they compile a bunch of statistics of a lot of the reported cases of book banning and book challenges, and they put all those statistics together, and the top 10, the ones that have been challenged and banned the most, are what makes it onto this list. Now, this book in particular has been on this list at least last year. It might have even been the year before too. And it is again on this list again this year. I don't remember what number it is. It could be 5 or 6, something like that. But it is in the top 10. And that book is called All Boys Aren't Blue. And this is by George Johnson. Now, this is a memoir, a memoir about George's life growing up Black and queer. And it is a phenomenal story for a lot of different reasons. First of all, the writing in it is just really not only great, but it's very heartfelt and real. You can just feel everything he's going through, and it makes you just want to reach through the book and give him your hand to hold or give him a hug, because it's just such an incredible story. But George also does a really fantastic job talking about the intersections of Blackness and queerness, and how sometimes both of those categories don't line up all the way, and how, you know, sometimes when you're Black, you get a lot more trouble for being queer, and vice versa too. And he takes so much joy in his Black queerness. And that is the biggest thing about this book that I think is just absolutely phenomenal, is that there is a lot of pain in this story, but there is a lot of joy too. A lot of joy and triumph and just excitement over life. And that's what I really love about this book, and why I loved reading it, you know, a few years ago when I first came across it, was because I loved reading not just the lows, but also the highs. And the story of his life was just really inspiring for anyone to read about. All Boys Aren't Blue. And this is on the ALA's top 10 most banned books of last year. Well, that's what we've got for you guys today. I hope that these books sound really interesting and might be something you want to give a try. Like I said, next week is Banned Books Week, so this is the perfect time to read either of these books or both of them, or just head over to the ALA's website and you can look at the full list of the top 10 books that were most banned, as well as books from the past few decades that have been banned and stuff like that. If you're looking for things to do to help with this issue, honestly, staying informed and knowing what's going on is the key. It's the most important thing you can possibly do. So these books, give them a try. They are awesome. Thank you so very much for watching, my friends, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.